Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. I do a monthly series here on my YouTube channel on the best games coming to retail. I do the best new games hitting retail, the best new additions hitting retail, and the best expansions hitting retail. Because publishers are always releasing expansions to, add more replayability to their game, keep interest high in their games. And so, we have a bunch of great expansions hitting retail every single month. So, I talked to 400 or so publishers to make this series of videos, so everything you hear was confirmed by publishers. So here we go. Here are the best expansions hitting retail in September 2023. Up first, we have That Sound Game Extension Pack from Asmodee. That Sound Game is one of the games that hit retail for the first time this month that I included in my Best Games Hitting Retail video, and this is the sort of adult expansion pack. So if you didn't watch that other video, the Sound Game is essentially like a classic party game, charades, a Pictionary, but done only with sound. You divide up into teams, you're going to get a word suggestion, and then you have to keep your hands behind your back so you're not gesturing, and then just use sound to get your teammates to guess the word on the card. And the game has a bunch of different colored cards, and those are different categories, like people and nature and things like that. Well, this extension pack adds a little filth to the game. So you wanna make some adult sounds, huh? Yeah, you do. But don't do it in the bedroom. Do it in the living room with this game. That's how you do adult sounds if you're a gamer. Is in the living room with the Sound Game extension pack. So if you like big group party games, then check that out. Atlas Games is releasing a couple of expansions to their game Godsforge. The first of which is Return of the Dragon Gods. So Godsforge is a dice rolling, attack the other players at the table sort of game. You are going to roll dice, and everybody is doing this simultaneously. There's a lot of simultaneous play in the game, which is nice, but everybody's rolling dice and then using the values that they've rolled to activate certain cards from their hand. And it's interesting because you're always attacking the person to your left and defending from the person on your right. So, Yahtzee style dice rolling, attacking cards. And it plays fairly quickly. It's like a 30-minute game. Well, this expansion, Godsforge Return of the Dragon Gods, introduces upgrades that increase your game's power level, added dragon-themed creation, and spell cards. And then the other thing that it does is add 1 to the player count. So Godsforge is a 2 to 4 player game. Well, now it can be a 2 to 5 player game. So that's kind of nice. It's still the, very quick playing 30-minute type of a game, and still the main mechanisms of rolling dice and attacking people at the table. But, this adds another player and introduces upgrades to the game. And then the other expansion to Godsforge that they are releasing is Twilight of the Great Houses. This includes 16 great houses, which each give unique ability to modify your game's playstyle and power level, adding replay value. So it sounds like with 16 great houses that have unique abilities, maybe there's some asymmetry in the game now. Maybe you each have a bit of an asymmetric ability. Still keeps the core gameplay, the rolling dice, the attacking people, but now add some more replayability with Twilight of the Great Houses. Asmodee is releasing an expansion to Bullet Heart, and which is called Bullet Orange. This one actually came out a little while ago, but didn't have like a full retail release, so now it is having its full retail release. This is compatible with Bullet Heart or Bullet Star, and you do need one of the base games to be able to play this expansion, Bullet Orange. the Bullet series is sort of like an old arcade game, like Galaga sort of a thing, where there are things descending at you and you are shooting them and trying to keep anything from getting to your end of the screen. Well, this is sort of the board game version of that a little bit. There are things moving down the board and you are trying to destroy them before they get to the end of the board. Well, Bullet Orange brings 4 new heroines to the game, and it represents the first tabletop appearance of famous characters from the Orange Juice franchise. So the characters Sora, Flying Red Barrel, Suguri, and QP Shooting all make appearances in this version of the game. So if those are characters you like from these different worlds, then check this out. It's a 1 to 4 player game, plays in 15 to 30 minutes, and it has that sort of old arcade feel to it for sure. Catan, as well as Asmodee, are releasing Catan Starfarers New Encounters. So Catan Starfarers is a little bit like base Catan set in space. You're still doing the thing where you're rolling dice and that is producing based on the number that is rolled, and you're moving along these sort of nexus points, and there are different resources. But Catan Starfarers is, in space, and there's different planets, and it is a 3 to 4 player game, so know that it is. You have to have 3 or 4 players. So this expansion, Catan Starfarers New Encounters, there are 3 new scenarios that await you in your Catan Starfarers game, giving you the chance to encounter new and unknown life forms, defend against huge amoebas that threaten planet systems, and meet a dreaded pirate who frightens the galaxy. So if you want some sounds like there's a little bit more story in it, a little bit more narrative in these scenarios for Catan Starfarers. So this is the New Encounters expansion. And each of the scenarios plays in about 2 hours, 120 minutes. So yeah, there you go. CGE is releasing the second expansion to Lost Ruins of Arnak. This one is called The Missing Expedition. So they had Expedition Leaders was their first expansion to the game Lost Ruins of Arnak. And if you haven't played Lost Ruins of Arnak, it is a great game that mixes worker placement with some deck building, and there's research track you can go up, and there's a lot of interesting things. It's a really good game that I love. And Expedition Leaders added some new leaders into the game that all had asymmetric abilities, which kind of helped because they helped push you into certain strategies. My leader is good at this, so I'm going to pursue that. And so this expansion does 2 main things. It adds 2 new leaders. So like Expedition Leaders added a bunch of leaders, this adds 2 new leaders that you can explore that have their own asymmetric abilities. And it also offers a campaign for 1 to 2 players. So if you've always wanted sort of a cooperative campaign set in the world of Lost Ruins of Arnak, well, now they have that for you. It can be the expansion can be added to the base game of Lost Ruins of Arnak, or it can be discovered as part of a solo or 2-player cooperative campaign that consists of 6 chapters, each with a different set of rules, goals, and achievements. So yeah, that's fun. It adds a little bit of story element to the world of Lost Ruins of Arnak. This expansion doesn't just add the leaders and the campaign expansion. It also adds a few new research tracks. If you've already explored all the research tracks, it adds new artifacts, items, assistants. So a lot of content for the game. It plays 1 to 4 players in 30 to 120 minutes, but you do need the base game to play it. So yeah, Lost Ruins of Arnak, The Missing Expedition. Fantasy Flight Games, in association with Asmodee, is releasing Descent, Legends of the Dark, The Betrayer's War, or it's also kind of known as Descent Act 2. So there was a first version of this this Descent. There was a, this is almost like the third edition too. There was Descent second edition, and this is like the third edition, though they don't want you to call it that. It is officially not called that at all. So, but then in the third version of Descent, the first chapter of it was Descent Legends of the Dark, and then now this is the Betrayer's War. So it is a sprawling and deeply cooperative dungeon crawler driven by player choice. It is powered by an app, so you don't have to have a game master, and you are making choices, exploring this dungeon. You can play it solo, or you can play it up to 4 players, and it is going to take a lot of teamwork and cooperation to overcome the various challenges in the game. Like Legends of the Dark, this is a very big box. It's got, terrain, it's got miniatures, it's got all that sort of stuff. But if you are a fan of dungeon crawl games, I mean, this is one of the most highly rated dungeon crawl systems. The Descent system really helped popularize dungeon crawls in general. So yeah, there are this game has new villains, new quests, new mechanisms, so a lot of stuff to explore in the world of dungeon crawling. So it's a big one, and it's a fun one, The Betrayer's War. Gale Force 9 is releasing an expansion to their game Dune that came out 5 years or so ago. This is not like Dune Imperium. This is a different Dune game, and this expansion is called Ecaz and Moritani. So their game, Dune, was a heavyweight game that had a lot of asymmetric factions. You were playing as the different houses working to control Dune, and there was a lot of negotiation, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of trying to control the world. Well, this adds 2 new houses to the game of Dune, the board game. Ecaz and Moritani. So they're going to have their own asymmetric abilities, their own play styles, all that sort of stuff. It also adds a few new game mechanics to the game. There are home worlds, and these allow you to conduct raids on the home worlds of other factions and interfere with their advantages. There are Nexus cards that provide players with incentives and special effects for not joining an alliance. And there are discovery tokens that add new elements to the game on sections of the board that are often bypassed and don't see much action. So adds some more asymmetry and adds some more mechanics to the game. This maintains that heavyweight feel, it's definitely a heavier weight game. Plays 2 to 6 players in 2 to 3 hours. So a little bit longer of a play time. Gale Force 9, several months ago, released a new edition of their game, Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Corpse. This was a game that came out, 3 years ago, but they did a lot of updating to the game and re-released it several months ago, earlier this year for sure. And they have an expansion, a brand new expansion to the game called We're in the Pipe 5x5. So the Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Core is a cooperative survival game. You are, it's set in the world of aliens from the movie Aliens, and you are exploring, you are a team of Marines, and you are going into the world and exploring, trying to find survivors, but also trying to survive yourself, because you will be attacked by aliens. And so can you help can you help these other survivors and also make sure you are one of the survivors yourself? So this expansion, We're in the Pipe 5x5, brings the Sulaco's dropship crew to Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Core. You can fly the friendly skies as you fight off alien stowaways while attempting to rescue the survivors of the disaster in the air processing plant. So, yeah, there's also 4 new alien variants: the Brute, Guard, Scout, and Skulker, which adds a new dimension to the xenomorph hive's urge to absorb the occupants of Hadley's Hope. So just adds a bunch of new stuff to the game. 1 to 6 players, plays in 60 to 120 minutes, and is definitely that medium weight style game. Gale Force 9 is also re-releasing a couple of the expansions for this game that they've already released. They're re-releasing Ultimate Badasses, and they're re-releasing Get Away From Her, UB. So those are expansions that already came out, but now they're having their re-releases. So I'm not going to go into them a ton here, but you know they're more content for this game, Aliens, a survival cooperative game. Renegade Studios is releasing a couple of expansions to Robo Rally. The first of which I'll talk about is Wet and Wild. So Robo Rally is a programming race game. You are a set of robots. I mean, you are a robot. There's various robots you can pick from, and you are racing around this board, but you're doing it by playing cards to program your movement. You know, you're going to move up, and you're going to turn, and then you're going to do this, but then there's also obstacles on the board, and other robots can be shooting lasers at you to hurt you. The base game, well, I should say Robo Rally, came out in the 1990s. So Renegade Game Studios earlier this year released a new version of Robo Rally, and then now, the new version came out only a few months ago, and now these are the first couple expansions to this new version of Robo Rally. I believe the new version, the base game, came with 4 maps on it, and this is going to add new stuff, mostly in the world of maps. They are adding this Wet and Wild expansion, adds 3 new double-sided game boards that feature new elements like water spaces, ledges, ramps, so you can go onto different levels and stuff. And there are also crushers, which are dangerous to robots. There are also 5 brand new upgrade cards. So in the game, you can be upgrading your robots, giving them special abilities that might help their movement, that might help them, win the race. And so there are 5 new upgrade cards in this as well. But I feel like the main thing is the new boards with new obstacles on the boards. And the other expansion is Robo Rally Chaos and Carnage, which also focuses on the new boards with new obstacles on them. This also has 3 new double-sided game boards, and this features elements like teleporters, where you can get around obstacles quickly by teleporting to the other side. It adds randomizers, where you can just, you need some help, you can just try your luck and see if this works out for you. It also has crushers, which are dangerous to robots, and it also adds 5 new upgrade cards. So there are a lot of options for different boards, which will get you different challenges for the racing programming game Robo Rally. Renegade Game Studios is also releasing an expansion to the game Bargain Quest called Brick and Mortar. So Bargain Quest is a game where you are playing not as the heroes going out and fighting monsters so much as the shopkeepers that are selling, goods and equipment and things like that to those heroes. And so you're going to deck out some different heroes with your stuff, but then the heroes do go fight, and if they do well, then you gain some prestige for your shop because you were like the sponsor of that hero. And that's the base game. This expansion, Brick and Mortar, lets the shopkeepers engage in direct competition during special shopping events. So, like Black Friday, this has the dreaded Blackguard Friday. And there's a trebuchet launch party. And so instead of just, decking them out on random days of the year, now you are competing with people during these special shopping events. So the game also will add new heroes, items, and employees that will, keep the game replayable for you, add some new challenges for you into Bargain Quest. Bargain Quest, 2 to 6 player game, plays in about 45 minutes, and is on that sort of border of light to medium weight game. So those are all the expansions I have hitting retail in September 2023. If you want to support this series and find out the other stuff coming to retail, there's always more than I can include every month. You can check out my Patreon, patreon.com/GrantsGameRex. And thank you so much for liking and subscribing and checking out these videos. I appreciate it, and I always hope that you find something that you're excited about here. So thanks so much. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.